Hello, Eckhart here. This is tutorial number two for the use of Grasshopper in the 3D Tech class. This tutorial is to show you how to horizontally slice up um, a mesh so that you can actually export it um, for the use. You slice it up, make a little, I don't know, like little layers of cheese or sliced toast that reassembles a head. So it's a little exercise for you to kind of get used to using this software, but also the hardware we have here at the Academy. Okay, and the previous tutorial I have shown you how to make, how to import a mesh, how to smooth it, how to scale it, how to manipulate. So very simple techniques. You could do that all in Rhino as well, but you have far, far more options in Grasshopper. And the more you work with Grasshopper, you will realize how powerful a tool it is. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to slice this head up, yeah, and I could do this with cutting planes and array them, and then take every layer, make a screenshot, and like project the mesh onto the ground plane, and then edit every. I mean, it just takes far, far too long. So I want you to kind of wanted to show you how to do this parametrically, to speed up the process, but also to have far, far more options, but also to get used to, for you to, get an idea what this tool can actually do. Okay. Okay, now I want to slice this in the Z direction. And how do we start? Okay, I take this mesh. So this is my mesh here. Yeah. And I want to make this, I want to contour it down basically. So we have a battery that is called contour. And it looks like this. So you type in contour, and in, hold on. In Windows is you press Alt, and then you actually know where the damn thing is coming from. I think contour is somewhere. Is it in curves division? Oh yes, here. So I think it's, is it this here? Was it in vector sets? Honestly, yeah, Apple is not great with stuff like this. So so you need to kind of probably type in contour, and I think it's probably there in the curve section here. Is it this one? No. You want this one here. But I will upload this file later on, so you can actually download it. So this is the contour section. So I want to slice this up. Okay. And so let's see what we have. So we plug our mesh into the contour, and it doesn't do anything. We still have the yellow sign here. So we need parameter D. The D is the distance. So the distance, we slice it up. And I wanted to slice it up perhaps with a gap of around 20 mil. So I get a number slider, type in 20, and it naturally goes into the Z direction. So here it's already defined as 001, seems to be organizing it in the Z direction. But to make sure, double click, press Z, so it's unit Z. So what happens if we, let's say, unit y. We plug in the unit y, we slice it into the unit y, yeah, so in the y direction, yeah. So that might be useful if you want to for later on, but let's concentrate on the horizontal mapping here. Okay, so we have the 20. So these are now these lines here. If you click onto it, we have these lines that present us. However, we've got this thing here. You can also indicate where to start. Perhaps you can start slightly above. So we want to reference a point. So let's place a point somewhere here. And I want to move this point a little bit up. So I highlight it and just kind of drag it upwards. Perhaps somewhere here. Let's have a look in the perspective mode. Let's see what it does. Not quite sure whether we have to drag it in, but let's reference a point. So we get a point here. This is a point. We reference this point. And plug it in. And now our contours start on the level of this point. Did you see how it switched? If you want to disconnect the wire, right click and you can sort of disconnect this point. Yeah. And you can sort of see at the moment we have the first line starting from 0, the next here, but I want to start slightly higher. So this is where we start. And you can probably adjust it a little bit. Don't make it too tight. Let's leave it with 20. Okay, so here we have contours, and this is a symbol for curves. So this is a curve. I'm just going to do this that you know we have these curves. This is the same as this. And I want to, do we need to smooth it? It looks already quite smooth, but let's see, we might have to smooth it a little bit. And now I want to create an inner line, and I had a huge amount of problem. You can usually do it with offset curve loose or offset curve. Just want to show you how. So if I take this curve and the distance, I want to offset it, let's say 10 millimeter. So I can offset it towards the outside, but you see they go funny. But I want to offset towards the inside and goes even funnier. So there we need to kind of set it negative. We need a negative battery. You could do this in here, but just to show you. And these lines really are very, very messy. So, and I had a lot of problems figuring out how to do this. And the wonderful world of the World Wide Web, particularly with the Grasshopper community, somebody made a, so basically for those who have coding experience, you can actually code something. So this is a code, a Python code. I don't have any idea how to script Python or C# or so. If you can, it's very useful because you can embed things into Rhino. Like I think here in the math tablet, you have scripts. So there are various, so you have Python or C Sharp. I don't even know what VB script is, but also you have Arduino. You can integrate Arduino in here for those who have Arduino scripts. Okay, so this is something I found on the internet, a script that sets it into, but for that we need to kind of smooth and patch it a little bit. So I want to smooth this line. Don't ask me exactly why, but I had to kind of, after a long search, that was the only way it sort of worked out. And I need to patch. Patch is a very important battery because if something that kind of quite doesn't work, patch usually does the trick. So let's see. Just hope this works. And let's see. I want to smooth this. Might have to manipulate a little bit there. So I plug this in here. So now we have these lines here. No idea why that is, but there you go. Let's see what happens. You get these misreadings. Do we need to get it a bit of a less of flexibility? There's always something. There is always something. I'm going to plug this in here. Okay, we don't go via a curve. So we go via patch. And we should have a curve here. Okay, so here we have curves now. Yeah, we can blend this out. So I've got the mesh here. This is the outer curve. I group this. Outer curve. And this is the inner curve. And here, so outer and inner, you could group them together into one. But what we want to do now is, well, we could all project them, but then it gets, it gets a little bit messy. This is where you basically want to go back to Rhino. So here, I bake it. And I bake it in layer, let's say 4. And this one, I bake in layer 4. Hold on, which one have I baked? So the inner ones are already baked. So as you can see, they are now recognized. The inner ones are recognized in Rhino. Yeah, so we bake them, they exist. The outer ones here, we bake them as well. Let's put them also in 4. I group these ones. And now we have the transition from a mesh to your final outputs here. And hold on, let's blend everything out in Grasshopper. We highlighted round mouse wheel, and here you have it. And then you probably need to edit the order, because sometimes, because this, your base is not quite done, and here there was a funny thing with the ear. You can actually just delete that. And here this obviously needs a little bit of adjustment, so I think I need to probably move this this point a little bit upwards to start the first ring. Or we have only half a ring, we probably need to kind of connect these. But what you can do now is you can, copy and paste this onto your ground plane and export it. I would group this, and you can put it on the ground plane. Put this aside. And you can cut this with the laser cutter. Yeah, this is not a bad, it's a nice round shape and inside. And later on, we will have to kind of work on making brackets and connections, but this is already a good start. Yeah. So when you have this file, I'll send you this file and the YouTube videos. So you can just open this file, and it will not come with a mesh. So what happens then? So you just open this and you will have always all these warnings. Yeah. Let's try with something else. If you import another file, and that's the beauty of Rhino, I import another file. Let's try it with Shiba. A friend of mine. It's not too big, this file. Here we have Shiba. It's already quite a rough mesh. I take another mesh and reference this. A separate mesh. Let's put it into Shiba. Let's hide Shiba. Type in hide. So here we've got this mesh now. My friend Shiba, when he still had hair. A good Japanese painter friend. And now let's see what happens if we just plug this in here. We probably have this reference wrongly here. And see whether we get something out of it. Right. So here we also have a sliced Shiba. So we probably need to do some adjustments here and some fine editing, but theoretically we could, let's show the Shiba again. Type in show. Let's put Shiba also in the 0 position. This is where, obviously, because all the reference points go with it. Okay. And let's see, let's hide Mr. Shiba. And when you have a lot of stuff, sometimes it's actually quite good data them. If your computer struggles with the data, it's quite good to sometimes make a little data them. So at the moment, we don't calculate all of this. So at the moment, we can concentrate working on this mesh. So, and I don't, let's see how it actually looks. So this is the small flattened out Shiba. And let's hide all of that. Oh, these are burned ones, aren't they? Let's delete those. We can always reburn them. Okay, so this is the original mesh here. Let's hide that. So this is Mr. Flat Shiba. No, let's scale it a little bit more up. Make him a little bit more voluptuous. Or guns totally flat. No, a bit more. A little bit flat. Yeah. Or perhaps we could make him narrow. And we disconnect that one. So at the moment we have it quite narrow. And perhaps you can do goofy things, rotate. Rotate 3D. We've got the geometry. Here I would actually go degrees. And let's do 60. Yeah. And then we plug not the mesh in, but we plug the rotated one in. Yeah. We hide this. So we have the compression now here. Yeah. Yeah. And for all those who ever have looked at Jean Plenza's work, Spanish artist, you know now how it's done. Look up Jean Plenza. Okay, now, obviously we have a lot of data to produce. So we hide all of this, but we want to process this. And something isn't that they don't, this point is gone. We need to make a new reference point. So when you have warning signs here, always start with the first reference point if something is not quite right. Okay. I probably have deleted it. So we can reference this again. Let's put it somewhere there. You can move it up a little. And then we set one point. Come on, Mr. Computer. This is where my computer crashes or what? No. And here we go. So let's hide this. And you see how it's sliced up from this first reference point. Let's look at it in perspective. It's not bad at all. Here on the top where we probably have to do some fine editing in the end in Rhino when we burn it. We can connect these lines. But if you have to do this all by hand, it's an awful lot of, if you hand build this is an awful lot of money. And with this tool I just built this afternoon, you should be able to slice your work up fairly quickly. Okay, so I disconnect this here. I leave this here. I save it. I internalize the data so that you have some. So basically now the mesh is actually within the Grasshopper file which I send out. I delete this. So, but you can sort of, so simple things, it's probably under vector. I can't remember where all these are. I rotate, it's probably under transform. Yeah. So here you have all these sort of rotating items. Okay, so try to kind of, stay not messy. This is called a data dam. And here, final cutting lines for laser cut. You don't forget to obviously bake them. Yeah, at the moment they don't do anything. You can't, if you go into Rhino, doesn't do anything. You want to work in with Rhino and edit, you need to bake it first. Yeah, bake whatever layer you want. No, it hasn't been baked. Why isn't it baked? Come on. Here, takes a little bit. Or are these layers all not visible? We have some layers here now. Let's blend this out. Here, so they have been baked, yeah. Okay, but we can actually destroy this because we have internalized the data. This mesh is should be still there, yeah. So we can, so this is all parameterized. And so when you save files, always save the Rhino files, particularly in Windows. It's important. In Grasshopper for Mac, you can just use this one, but the Windows file likes both files. Yeah. So to finish things, import your mesh, reduce the mesh count. Yeah. Then import it, parameterize it into the mesh, and see what you come out. You might have to adjust bits and pieces here, or set your point right here. Yeah, your starting point. But that should be all possible for you now. Okay, so okay, I try to kind of get this out as soon as possible. Thank you for listening. I hope you bring the files in next week. All right. Oh no, it's Chinese New Year. What is it called? Choi. Happy New Chinese New Year. See you soon.